AMET. Yes, AMET University, India. So I would like to seek the availability of the Raja Sekhar sir. Thereafter, we have again at the presentation of Manoj Kulkarni sir. So Raja Sekhar sir, I have found you and I have unmuted you. Kindly unmute yourself. I would like to request you to on the video also. Thank you. Very good evening, sir.
Yeah, good evening, sir.
Thank you for joining. And we would like to introduce you in front of our all the participants and the speakers. And today we have Dr. D. Rajasekhar sir from India. He is professor and director of AMET University, India. So it is my pleasure to introduce in front of you Rajasekhar sir. And may I request you, sir, for sharing the screen and you can go for your presentation. We'll have
Thank you.
another, yeah, now Rajasekhar sir presentation. Thereafter, it will be followed by our Manoj Kulkarni sir presentation. And both of the presentation will be for like around 30 minutes. And we'll have the discussion also with the our participants. Thank you. Thank you very much, sir.
Thank you,
Over
sir.
to you.
Thank you. Thank you. So the topic quantitative data collection method for writing a research paper. So most of the research scholars may have an idea, but still they may have the doubt what type of data to be required for writing the research paper. So
Sir, you can go with the full screen view. It is on the right side bottom.
okay,
Yeah, yeah. Thank you, sir. Over to you.
yeah. So where do we begin? The more I think, the more I confused I get. So the research scholars, they used to start their research even in writing the research paper or else even in writing their, doing their research work. But at the initial stage, they may start the work, but later on they may have the confusion of what type of data we required and what type of sample size is required and in what way they have to collect the data. So the components of research always starts with a title. A title to be very specific related to your objective, an introduction, the statement of the problem. And the next one is review of literature. The review of literature which states that the people, those who have already did their research related to your study and based on the reviews, let you have to collect the data, identified your objectives and the problem and the hypothesis for the study and research design and methodology. So what type of research design you are going to apply and what type of methodology, what type of tools are required to do your research work and conceptual framework. Yes, conceptual framework, which is very, very important, where you are going to start and how you are going to end your research. So for that, let you have to show at least one diagram related with your conceptual framework and the report writing and implication of the study. And if people, those who have got any financial assistance and they have did their research. So at this point, the 10th one, which is not yet important, but few research journals, they are expecting the last one is conclusion and they later on select a bibliography. So these are the components of research. So the title means it clearly describes the contents of your study. Authors, there are few first author and second author, but when you are going to give your authors, let you have to see that the author who originally contributed for your research. So you may have the right to include, but sometimes the people may ask, try to include the name as the second author or third author without any contribution. So these type of things to be avoided while writing the research papers. Abstract describes what was done. Let you have to give the topic and what type of sample size and what type of tools and your findings and suggestions. This abstract, once you complete your study, later on you have to present your abstract. Sometimes few journals are expecting to send the abstract at the initial stage, but for sending the abstract at the initial stage, which is not yet a right one, you can send, but later on, once you are completed with all your workings, as I told the components of the previous slide, at the end you can write the abstract of your research with the keywords. The keywords may be vary from one journal to another journal, but the keywords, which is very, very important thing for the purpose of citation, are indexed. So if maximum number of journals are decided to index, or even the person, those who want to refer your paper also, at now, if you have seen ResearchGate website is there, even they need to upload, even if they want to upload the papers, they may upload only the abstract with the keywords. With the keywords itself, you can decide that very easily. The people can comes to know that what type of keywords if you are used, which may attract for them to cite your paper on and off, which was required by the scholars. And the introduction means explain the problem. Methods explains how the data were collected. So here we are going to discuss what type of data and how you have collected the data. And next one is results, describes what was discovered from your method. So once you have collected the data, based on the data, what was discovered and what you want to say to the society, called as implication of the findings and suggestions to whom you want to acknowledge. And last one is references, ensures previously published work is recognized, and some journals only they are expecting to show the appendix. For example, if you did any research part of the work and not able to show in the regular proceedings of from start, as I told, the components of paper, but the certain working notes alone you can show as appendix. It's a supplement data for the expert reader. Source cards. So the reference maximum, again, the bibliographic information may have doubt how to write the bibliographic information. Citing a book means, so you have to use this as a method of presenting your bibliography in your research paper. While citing the article, author's name and year, title of the article, and which journal, and number and pages. So volume number and pages. So for the book and the article, just see here, you may find the difference while citing the book and while citing a journal article. So this citing of including the references, American Psychological Association is a famous association to citing the references. So when you want to use references, which style which is required means, always a few journals, maximum or Indian journals are expecting with APA style only. Okay, so when you want to include the APA style, there are few websites and few softwares are there. I used to recommend Zotero. Is a very friendly software to you can write for the references. And another one, there is a website called as Citation Mission. Okay, Citation Mission, there is a website. Even if it is not possible for you to use the APA style, manually, if you are having the data, the article data with you, you can enter the data manually and automatically it will shows turned converted into APA style. So for that, I would like to suggest, if those who doesn't want to go with the Zotero app, the Zotero or LaTeX, there are various types of softwares are there, but go with the Citation Mission website, which is very easily and friendly for you to can convert with this whatever the styles which was required by the publisher. So the types of data, the primary data collected for the first time, and the secondary data already collected and passes through the statistical process. So what the information which is already available. So based on that, if you're going to do is called as secondary data. And if you're using the statistical tools and collecting the data, once fresh data, if you're going to collect the first time and applying the statistical tool called as primary data. So these are the methods of collecting primary data: survey method, personal interview, direct personal interview, then the observation, the indirect oral interview, schedules through enumerators, observation method is there, experiment method is there. So surveys, experiment method, observation method, questionnaire method, and schedule method. There are various types of methods used for the purpose of collecting the primary data. But the most important method for those who are doing behavioral science, and so those who are engaged with the social science can go with always questionnaire method. Even nowadays, you can use the link and say, share that link to the respondents. And there is another software website is there, a Survey Monkey. Okay, so even through the Survey Monkey also nowadays the people are started to collecting the data. So the private questionnaire method, or else telephone method, or interview method. Interview method means the personal interview, but maximum times the personal interview which may not be possible. It's a very much demerit, and you cannot spend much long time in collecting the information from the respondent. So even these are all the studies are there, if the method of collecting the data, but at the initial stage, let you want to know what type of research designs or application in your study. Exploratory. So literature review, factors influencing the construct called as exploratory research. Descriptive means where the data analysis and interpretation, the measurement, hypothesis formulation is called as descriptive. But the inferential analysis, even for descriptive mean a standard deviation called as descriptive statistics. Inferential means when you're going to use chi-square, ANOVA, multiple regression, confirmatory factor analysis are same called as inferential analysis. So let you out to know what type of design you are going to apply for your study, but maximum descriptive and inferential, which combinedly used to applied while writing the research paper. So what is data? Data is a collection of fact, maybe numbers, words, measurements, observation, even just a description of things. So here the collection of fact means, so here the qualitative data, quantitative data. So qualitative data means it describes something, which means it's just an information. So here the example, it was great fun. It's a qualitative, just describes an information. Quantitative means again two types of data. One is discrete data. Discrete data means whole number. 1, 2, 3, 4, like that. Any whole number means called as discrete. Continuous means take within the value of range 1, 2, 3, 3 to 4, 3.265 to some other range called as a continuous data. So here quantity data which shows that discrete data and continuous data, the whole number which represents the discrete and within the any range is called as a continuous data. So these two are most important. Basically let you all to know what qualitative and quantitative data, which type of data you are going to apply for your research work. So here, what type of data is it about, Doc? You all know where whole numbers are there called as quantitative data, just giving the information. Yes, lots of energy is brown and black, while giving the information which is called as qualitative data. So first and by researcher for his research work is called as primary data, already collected by someone. It's a ready-made data called as a secondary data. So here, the primary data and secondary data, the differences which I have presented here: primary data, qualitative data, secondary data, quantity data. The reason is already the information which is available, and at the same time, for collecting the primary data, you have to show maximum primary data, but instead of that secondary data, if at all inadequate, when starting with your research work itself, you have to decide that whether you have to go with primary or secondary. But at initial stage, once you have started with the primary, later on, if the respondents doesn't come forward to respond you properly, and you are having very least percentage of respondents with you, and if at all the various tools not able to support for you, having very less amount of sample size with you, in such cases, you may have the confusion again. Instead of going with, shall we go for secondary data? So before starting in writing your research work, you have to decide that in what way you have to collect the data, what type of data you have to use, what type of statistical tools you have to use, in which way you have to collect the data, whether the respondents are ready to give the response. Is it possible to collect the data from the respondents? And some people, what they may do, their questionnaire itself, which may consist of 20 to 25 pages like that, but please try to cut short and only at least 4 to 5 pages with very less amount of questions. Even 3 pages also, which is enough, which is very less amount of questions. The people, those who want to respond, they should, while looking at the questionnaire itself, very in simplified manner, the questionnaire need to be present. Then only the respondents may come forward. While looking at the questionnaire itself, they may ready to give the response. So for that, even if you're ready to collect the data, the way of preparing the questionnaire, that which is very, very important. The constructing the questionnaire, which is very, very important. Sometimes the personal information totally to be avoided. So name of the person to be avoided. So certain things are which is required while constructing your questionnaire. If you're going to extract or expand with more amount of information, thinking that to bring more to include more statistical tools and to satisfy the other people, let you have to increase more number of pages. Please, with your objective, with your specific topic only, you have to focus always. Even with 250 or 200, less than 250 pages nowadays, the recommended by the university, many universities. So based on that, you may start or can do your research work. But for primary data, the cost effectiveness, cost is required. But for secondary data, very economic. The reason is already the data is available. So primary source, observation, questionnaire, interview schedules. Secondary source is published or unpublished. So here where you are going to collect your data from books, websites, newspapers, magazines, journals, government report, publications already published. So which may come under secondary. The people, those who are doing the financial statement analysis with reference to any other company. So in such cases, the company's data already available. Only one thing, they have to use the formula to present. So maximum finance, these people, those who are doing the research in finance, which may come under secondary data. Other than the people, those who are doing the research in marketing or HR, the maximum period of time. Even nowadays, the people, those who are doing the research in law also, they are expecting, instead of going for secondary source, presenting their case laws, which is already available, but they are insisting to not to go with secondary, just go with the primary, with the descriptive research by showing their inferential statistical analysis. So for that, the primary data, which is very, very important. So observation related to behavioral science. So the observation means instead of asking the questions from the respondent, the person itself, the researcher itself, directly the person who involving and observing what which is happening related to his study is called as observation method. So in this observation method, structured versus unstructured. An auditor performing inventory analysis in store called as a structured observation. He knows what which is happening related with the stock analysis. Instead of asking the other people, he directly involved in collecting the inventory analysis called as structured observation. Unstructured observation, observing children playing with toys called as without any participation. He just observing what the children are doing called as unstructured observation. So two things are there. One is structured and another one is unstructured. Now the participant and non-participant observation. So going to slum and living their life, let they know, let the researcher who wants to know what the life they are living. So for that, the person itself, the researcher himself participating with the group of people to learn something called as participant observation, and a study of some people without being. So he doesn't want to participate, but at the same time, he just observing the things, what they are doing in their life is called as non-participant observation. Controlled means study of consumer in a small study of consumers in a mall is called as uncontrolled. Controlled means maximum the study observation which is related to experimental purposes. So people, those who are take place in various experiments, they are going with a controlled observation, not to go beyond the limit where they are while doing their experimental study. But for uncontrolled means just study of consumers means in a mall, we may not be able to control to whom you are going to select. All the people are having related to your study regarded with purchasing power of consumers. If you want to select, you have chosen your topic. In such cases, whoever there in the mall, all the people are the study of consumers called as uncontrolled. You may not be have any time to get the answers from the respondents, the people, those who are in the mall, called as uncontrolled observation. Next one is interview. So here the first one is personal interview, interviewer and interview, face-to-face contact, and structured means a descriptive study. Unstructured means exploratory study interview. Predetermined questions. Already you have to decide what questions to be asked. Later on, once you have fixed the time with the respondent, even while when he was ready to give the answer, at that time, if you're going to note down the question and asking him continuously, it seems to be that wasting of time for him. They won't give proper answers to you. So in such cases, the predetermined, the questions what to ask to be determined previously, and also the recording session also, which may be accepted while conducting the personal interview. So investigation, documentary or exit interview may be possible related with personal interview. So the next one is descriptive research and exploratory. Already I have given one point. So personal interview, structured means structured interview, which is coming under descriptive study. Unstructured means exploratory study. Now, what is the meaning of descriptive research? So we clearly aware about problem. Who are buying our products? There are more people are there. So who is your target population? That you have to decide whom you are going to target, whether women or men, and what the age category group of people you are going to target in collecting the information. So that which is very, very important for the descriptive research. Exploratory research means how sales is declining and we don't know why. So continuously, if the sales is declining for any companies, they have to do the exploratory research in what way they have to increase their sales. For that, this exploratory research which is required. So unstructured interview is exploratory research which is possible, and structured interview means descriptive research is implemented. Now the next one is a telephonic interview. It's a faster method, simple and economic, high rate of response, but replies can be easily recorded. No field staff is required. As and when required, you just give a call, but suitable for long distance, which is not possible for you to go and collect the data. Then you can use this telephonic interview. So here the group interview. It's a group interview means a free discussion is encouraged for public reaction on public amenities, people reaction on public amenities, health projects, welfare schemes, movie review. So some group of people are joined together and having the discussion with related to same, but collecting the information from them. So free discussion is encouraged, called as group interview. So the interview, one is a personal interview, second one is telephonic interview, third one is a group interview. So here the inadequate responses, sir, when I'm going for an interview, what problems? The partial responses, maximum you won't get the relevant answer, only incomplete answer, non-response. Sometimes they may refuse in giving the answers to you. And answers is irrelevant. What you are going to ask the question, what they want to give the reply, which is totally irrelevant. And the reply is totally inaccurate responses. For example, your samples is 500. If you want to collect the maximum amount of sample from the respondents, but that which not be possible by using the method of interview. And failure to understand the question. For example, sometimes if you're going to give the ask the question through the telephone, but they may not be able to understand. So for that, instead of using the observation method, instead of going with the interview method, which method which is more popular in the recent days to collect the sample size and to present, to go with your research work in an extraordinary way, only the questionnaire. So learning by doing activity, preparing a questionnaire on following themes. Awareness. So when you want to set your questionnaire, what awareness which is required for you? First one, you have to decide your objectives of research. For example, assess the awareness of brand among people. Analyze the reason behind unawareness. So these are the called as objective of research. So when you want to design your questionnaire, you just refer more number of at least 150 research papers, the previous articles that you have to refer and collect the information before when you want to prepare a questionnaire related to your study. So just like that, what the questionnaire which is already available, if you are going to use it, even that it shows the plagiarism. So to avoid the plagiarism and to show your work to the society in a perfect way, what we have to do is we have to analyze the previous research papers and collect the information from each and every paper. Continuously you have to write and collect the data to present in your questionnaire. So design in advance what sample size which is required for you. Is it possible? And the target audience and the population, whether you are going to do your research with reference to India with reference to Tamil Nadu or with reference to Chennai? Is it possible to collect your sample size with reference to India? Whether the number of respondents are there? Is it possible to collect your respondents with reference to Tamil Nadu? Whether they may ready or they may come forward to respond you? Or the target audience, whether you are going to focus with women or whether you are going to focus with men, what age group of people you are going to focus, called as sample unit. So these are the things to be designed in advance before preparing a questionnaire. So common data collection methods, all these methods that you can use: survey method, case study method, interview method, observation method, group assessment method, portfolio reviews, testimonials, test, photograph, diaries, journals, documentary review. So all these type of common data collection method, which may be depend on what topic which was chosen by you. Some people, they may go with primary, some people they may go with the interview, some people go with secondary, and not only that, even interview method also in the recent days. But the people, those who are doing research in criminal, CRPC, criminal procedure code in law means, then they have to proceed and evidence, photograph, videograph, like that. That which is very, very important, they have to show an evidence to do their while doing their research. So like this slide which shows that when you are doing your research continuously, you have to focus. Just see, when collecting the data itself, you have to spend a lot of time in presenting your data in a specific manner related to your objectives of your study. So what is questionnaire? A document containing a set of questions logically related to the program under study. If the questions are filled by respondents, then it is called as questionnaire. If it filled by the interviewer, it is called a schedule. I have explained about the interviewer, which is not possible. Even if you are asked the questions, it is not possible for him to fill by the interviewer. So maximum number of information, maximum amount of information, you may not be able to collect it by using the method called schedule. So the questions are filled by the respondents, that which may be a right method, a document containing set of questions, which may be very easy for you to collect the information from the respondents. So here, question construction, question relevance, question wording, types of question, question order or sequence. So what type, in what way you have to present your questions. So first one is always your question relevant to research objectives. Question should be able to answer research problem. These are 2 points are very, very important. If at all are not yet related to your research objective or not related to your research problem, in during the time of Viva or the thesis which was evaluated by the foreign examiner, even the articles which was evaluated by anyone else, they may see these two. What's your research objectives? How far your research objective which is related to your research problem. So these two are always interrelated and to be presented in your research work. Question wording. So the words are very, very simple. The people, those who are going to give the answer for your questionnaire, they should understand what information which was presented by you in the questionnaire. If it is too vague and they have to spend long time in reading the questionnaire itself, no one will come forward to give the answer. So the question wording, which is very, very important. So how that, for that simple words and sentence construction, which is very, very important. No need to put hypothetical questions. What would you do if, means it's a question mark. The people may not be know what type of answer that they have to be present for your question. So as I presented here, the vocabulary questions, exact questions should be very simple, and neutrality and presumption should not presume about respondent. How many times a day do you drink coffee? These type of questions to be avoided, and including hypothetical questions to be avoided. As I told previously, please we have to avoid the personal questions to be asked when you are going to draft the questionnaire. So the second one, question wording. These are the informations to be avoided when you want to draft the questionnaire. Types of questions: open-ended questions and closed-ended questions. Open-ended questions, just one question will be there. Let the respondent need to write the answer. So free scope for respondents to answer. I have given the example. What are your career plans after post-graduation? It's a question. Now the respondent need to answer, saying that whether he need to do the Doctor of Philosophy or any other post-graduation course. called as open-ended question. Only question will be there. Answer need to be filled by the respondent is called as open-ended questions. Closed-ended questions. Closed-ended questions means it's a legitimate questions. Legitimate means yes or no. Do you own or rent your house? Yes or no, called as legitimate question, called as closed-ended questions. And also multiple choice questions. So here I have given the example multiple choice questions, more than 2 alternatives for one question, called as multiple choice questions. So first one open-ended question in types of questions. Second one is closed-ended question. So maximum number of researchers in the recent days, they would like to present while drafting the questionnaire only closed-ended questions, which is easy for to give the answer by the respondent. So types of questions to be avoided. A leading questions influences respond to give a certain answer. Are you against leaving too much power to the trade union? So that which totally negative question which is going to affect the trade union itself. So these type of questions to be avoided. Loaded questions. Have you ever tried to get benefit to the business by giving bribe? So these type of questions are called as loaded questions. Ambiguous questions. It doesn't have any clear meaning itself. Are you interested in a small house? The question itself is having the doubt to the respondent. What let the researcher who wants to ask the question. So leading questions, certain answer is required. Loaded question means emotionally words not to be presented in the questionnaire. Ambiguous words means just the questioner should present the clear meaning. So called as ambiguous questions. So leading questions, loaded questions, ambiguous questions to be avoided. So the drafting of questionnaire, don't think that which is very easy. The drafting of questionnaire only which shows that how you are going to collect your sample size. Second point, the drafting of questionnaire only, the maximum number of respondents in the recent days, the same is required. So if you want to run confirmatory factor analysis and structure equation model, that so at least more than 350 respondents if you are collected, which is easy for you to know whether your model is fit or not. Easily can able to find out whether the model is fit or not. So even if you are going to collect the respondent, but the size is less than 300, if the researcher, if someone is asking to conclude with the same, whether the model is fit or not, means that which may not be possible. So for that, first one, the questionnaire. Second one, avoid these type of questions. Third one, based on the question, try to fix your questionnaire with simplified language with less amount of pages. And also the fourth one, you have to collect your sample size. For that sample size, at least 350 more means you can do your other statistical tools in a easy way. So double barrel question. In one question, it's one sentence itself, 2 questions if they are going to include is called as a double barrel question. Do you favor or oppose increased job security? So one question is job security. Another question is productivity. 2 questions they have asked in only in single sentence is called as double barrel questions. So they contain 2 or more different ideas, which may seems to be doubt for the respondent, which one you need to provide the answer. Lengthy question also to be avoided. So no need to draft very lengthy questions. They doesn't want to spend the time in the recent days. Even the people, your researchers very well, you know, collecting the information from the respondent, that which is not very easy at all. You may have an idea to decide to go with one particular topic, but later you may struck with the respondents never come forward to give the response. So the reason is the questionnaire which plays the major advantage here in collecting the answers from the respondents. The last one is double negative. Don't you oppose this bill? So where any government, where they have enacted with any amendment, any other act, means whether you are opposed, means you are asking the question negatively to that particular statement which was provided by the government. So the double negative questions also to be avoided. So the previously the questions, whatever questions, the loaded questions, leaded questions, ambiguous questions, double barrel questions, long questions, double negative questions, these questions are totally to be avoided. Question construction. What is volume of your trading? One question should follow another in logical sequence. So first question of your trading, how many trades do you make in a week? Even these type of questions also should have some relation, but at the same time, it's a sequence. For example, some people, they may fix one factor and they may ask what is volume of your trading in one place. Another factor, the same, how many trades do you make in a week in the second page or third page. So totally irrelevant. So these type of questions, while drafting or setting the questionnaire itself, you have to decide which question to be placed in which factor, under which factor you have to place the which question, which is very, very important. Otherwise, while running the SEM itself, while calculating the model fit, the number of items, number of statements, there is a chance to you have to remove. So for to avoid that, the sequence of question is very, very important. So mechanism of questionnaire: introduction, pre-coding, spacing, paper printing, margins. Attitude measurement scale. So these type of questions to be present in your questionnaire. First one is measurement. Measurement means assigning numbers. These are the numbers which you have presented is called as measurement. Scaling means very likely. So not at all likely, let you have to present is called as a scale. So measurement and scale, which I have given recommendation of Flipkart. So but here the two things, one is measurement and scale. Both the things to be identified with numbers means measurement, and if you are going with likely or not at all likely is called as a scale. So there are four types of measurement scale: nominal scale, ordinal scale, interval scale, and ratio scale. So nominal scale means if they are going to ask the questions, which of the following department do you work, is called as nominal scale. This type of question is called as nominal measurement scale. So numbers don't represent superiority of inferiority. Each number is assigned to only one object. So if you're going to ask this type of question, they may put tick mark, which is easy for the respondent to provide the answer. So nominal scale. So when they know what purpose you can use the nominal scale. So gender, male or female, called as nominal scale. Caste wise, respondent, brand wise, a players team. If they are going to present these type of questions, the for example here I have given gender, male or female, means immediately if you are going to ask did you how many number of respondents, male and female, that which shows what means a frequency distribution table you can utilize. So how to analyze means frequency distribution table you can use, but for these type of questions, if you're going to present in the questionnaire, called as nominal scale. Ordinal scale means ranking scale. The ordinal scale is also called as a ranking scale, that they have to rank. So next higher level then nominal scale is called as ordinal scale. One can tell which object has more or less character. So they have to rank 1 to 5, called as ordinal scale. So even if you're going to ask this type of question, if you're going to present the same manner, if you're going to present in your research work while drafting the questionnaire, so this type of question is called as ordinal scale. So when what way they are going to use the ordinal scale: preference of color or soft drinks, economic status, occupational status. If a question is asked related with kindly rank the colors which was preferable to you. So if 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, if they are going to rank, then it can be called as ordinal scale. So while doing the descriptive statistics and inferential statistics, what type of analysis can be used? So with this ordinal scale, if you ask the question, you can use the median, percentile, quartile, and rank correlation. So these type of statistical tools can be analyzed with the help of ordinal scale. Third one, internal scale. So maximum just go with the internal scale, which is easy for the respondent to provide the answer. So here the Likert scale, these questions are called as a Likert scale. 5-point rating Likert scale. How important is price to you while buying a car? Interval scale. So here this interval scale, even in the KFC, the customer satisfaction survey, they used to do with the help of this interval scale with the Likert scale. So Likert scale means 5-point rating scale, where they can use any one option which is easy for the respondents to provide the answer. So the next one is interval. So very unlikely, likely. So here difference as meaningful interpretation, but ratio does not meaningful interpretation. So the first one is nominal scale, second one is ordinal scale, and third one is interval scale. And for this internal scale, you can use all the statistical analysis: mean, standard deviation, correlation, t-test, z-test, regression analysis and factor analysis. So just see here, comparing to other two scale, what type of questions means, please just go with the maximum number of questions to be dealt with interval, that Likert scale of questions, which is easy for the respondent even to provide the answer, also to calculate the statistical analysis by the researcher. Now the next one is ratio. Ratio scale is only for weight, distance, income for 10,000 to 20,000, 20,001 to 30,000. If they are going to ask the question regarded with range, called as ratio scale. So coefficient of variance, geometric mean, harmonic mean. So these type of analysis might be used for the purpose of while calculating the ratio scale. So once you have decided, just see here, nominal scale means what type of test can be, statistical test can be used, non-parametric. So these two are non-parametric. When you are going to apply the interval scale and ratio scale, called as parametric. The most important point, there is a case test and Shacknode test. When you are going to use in, while using the SPSS, these two tests, always the test which shows the normal distribution of parametric or non-parametric. But here, once if you are getting non-parametric, you cannot apply the parametric. But if you're getting parametric test and your research supervisor asks you to include any other statistical tools related with non-parametric, you can include. So in parametric, you can include non-parametric, but in non-parametric, you doesn't have right to include the tools related to the parametric. So the parametric test means these are all the tools are related to parametric test. One sample t-test, z-test, and the par test, two sample test called as parametric. Non-parametric test, all these type of tools are called as non-parametric test. Even nowadays, the non-parametric test, Mann-Whitney test, or Kolmogorov-Smirnov test and Wilcoxon test are more popular, where they are asked by the research supervisors to include. But no, many people they may ask, but you have to test whether what type of tools can be used with the help of hypothesis test, parametric or non-parametric. As I told, with the KS test need to be included in your research work. So here the example I have presented: nominal scale, ordinal scale, interval scale, ratio scale, which I have already explained what type of tools can be used for the when you are going to present the different types of scales in your study. So nominal scale means, for example, age, the caste. The ordinal scale means preference ranking. Interval means if you are going to study, if you want to study the attitude or opinion with, as I told, Likert scale, interval scale. And ratio, age, income, market share, sales is called as ratio scale. So these type of scales to be implemented in your questionnaire, and at the same time you have to test with the SPSS to be proved with whether you have to go for with parametric or non-parametric test. So we have discussed qualitative data, quantitative data. Quantitative data, discrete means whole numbers, continuous data means within your age. Two sets of data is there: primary data, first-hand data; secondary data means the data information already available. Observations, there are various types of observations which we have discussed. Then interview, there are various types of interview, and till now we have discussed about the structure of the questionnaire, what type of stat scale to be used, and what type of statistical tools to be used. Sir, need last only 5 minutes, sir, please.
Sure, sir.
So here I would like to show that while calculating the sample size, the first one is target population, Tamil Nadu, Chennai. But how to calculate? There is a formula called as Cochrane formula for sample size. So when you are calculating your sample size formula, use this Cochrane formula for finite population. So this is the formula for the Cochrane. You will getting, well, based on my population size, I am getting the sample size 249 for using the Cochrane formula. Second one is, even you can use the Yeaman formula also for finite population. If you know your population, you can use the Yeaman formula or Cochrane formula, but the slightly you may have some difference. And even sometimes, if you doesn't want to go with using the formula, this Mukunda and Mukunda 2008, his review, his article shows that 30% you can take the overall population 30% for your study. Last one is Even the Baby 2004 is research article shows that while 50 percentage, if you are going collected your sample size, it is adequate. 60 percentage, well, based on your overall respondents, if you, this is your 706 is my population, from your population, known population, if while calculating at least 50 percentage means adequate, 60 percentage means good, 70 percentage means very good. So it let you have to decide by yourself based on your population. You can calculate, and but at the same time, whenever you are going to show your the sample size, you have to quote from where you have, represent your sample size. Some people, they may use the formula. Some people, what the previous author says that they have to represent in your research work. So the overall, the structure, what which I have shown here, how to write the research paper with the introduction and the questionnaire and the various types of data, including the sample size formula of Cochrane and Yeoman formula, and the two authors purpose, two authors previous research papers where you can utilize while if you doesn't able to get your sample size in an appropriate way. Thank you.
Thank you very much, sir. And another wonderful presentation of today's webinar. And we have seen that sir address each and every point of the quantitative analysis and how to go for that part. And I think that it will really help the researcher. It will help that all the academicians, and also sir has shown that how statistics can be used, even the nominal data and ordinal, that is everything that is within this very short duration of time. We know that these are actually need some more time to be discussed, more time to get the interaction. But due to I think that the time limit, we are concluding here. Even we know that one more speaker here. We have today seen that both of the speaker, that Professor Catlino and then Professor Rajasekhar sir, made really excellent presentation. In the presentation of our Dr. Rajasekhar sir, sir has shown that how statistics can be used, and directly he was addressing the quantitative analysis, primary, secondary, all that the process of the data collection, method of data collection, then how to go for the analysis. And finally, he has shown that one example also which you sharing that how the formula can be incorporated for finding out the result. So I would like to request each and everyone, please give the big hand for such an excellent speaker of the day. And today we are really congratulating you, Dr. Rajasekhar sir, for your
Thank you, sir.
that presentation. That was excellent presentation, no doubt about it. And you have explained each and everything stepwise, very simple manner. Thank you very much, sir.
Thank you, sir.
And